The dry and cold, high altitude Himalayan desert of Ladakh has sheltered many tribes since beginning of human settlement out here.
The beautiful and the sad part of the Ladakh is you can see the changes at a very fast rate. Where you can see the old and then you can see what is the new happening in layers. Leh was one of the major destinations or the trading hub. So I think which makes Leh a very important point.
We are sitting next to the Indus River right now. Geologists have analyzed that this is basically the actual fault line between the Eurasian plateau and Indian subcontinent. Hi, I'm Suril.
Hi, I'm Faisa. We'd like you to visit builderfied.com to access the case study of a journey in Ladakh. What happened is we got married and shifted to Ahmedabad, and we were working with the respective offices there. But eventually we thought we should travel across India because India is so beautiful, it's so diverse, and the regional architecture changes from everywhere. So it's about just creating a library of experiences and travels. And since I had not been to Ladakh, so we said, okay, let's go here. So we came here and we were in the market and we were just, meeting people and all. And they said, there is a place called Sec Mall. They work on constructions and, they might need architects. Why don't you just go and check? So then in Sec Mall, we met Sonam Wangchuk and he's like, guys, we are looking to somebody to curate and teach this course of 2 years to students who are not in conventional education system, but if they can be given a kind of a training so that they can be up on their feet, and also the architecture projects where you can design and build. So we looked at each other and we thought, oh, this is a good opportunity, and that's how we just said yes. I feel like right now we are working on conservation projects, private houses or hospitality projects, which, as you see, the tourism industry is in boom in Ladakh. Right now we are in the old part of the Hay village, where we see that earlier there used to be cluster of family houses which they used to live together, but right now with commercialization and they've moved apart. Generally what you see in construction, the foundation or the lower part is always the stone. Sometimes it's in dry or with mud mortar, and the stones are also what is available around you. So it can be round river stones. It's not always the chiseled or very nicely finely shaped stones. And then the adobe walls will start. So the director of Achi Association India, Abid Gupta, he has a vision to develop it into a cultural art district. So one such pilot project is the Pale House, which we have done. The beautiful part about Pale House, it's like a vernacular built form which has been conserved. This is around 200 to 300-year-old structure, according to oral memory. So all the floors and the roofs were loaded with lot of earth. We had to also take the walls from the foundation up and then give the this T-shaped wall, because the upper wall is eccentrically loaded and we had to add this. So I think the structure is basically made with stones, adobe, and the plaster is earthen plaster, and then on top layers we're finished with a lime.
So the main important part what you notice in the Chansa is that despite of almost 20 feet span, everything is made out of the timber rafter, same poplar rafters, but it has 4 columns and the 2 beam grid in the middle. That is also a culturally very important aspect. When you have a Chansa with 4 columns, it is an aspirational stage of a family that it's like you have arrived in the society. on the east side, the entire wall is actually shared with the neighbor. So there was no wall of this own house, and eventually we had to take the new wall from the ground up and then add more columns so that we can take care of the roof above and so on. Because tomorrow, if that house collapses or somebody needs to restore, then this entire east face will be open.
So currently the house is adaptively reused according to the functions what Achi Association requires. So at the ground floor, right now we have storage spaces for various exhibitions, artworks. On the upper floor, there's a main multi-purpose hall, which is the chansa. And then you have your kitchen, dining, there's the helps room. And the uppermost floor is where you have all the residential rooms happening. What we try to add is the textures, and how the play of shade and sun is actually happening along the facade. So the plaster, what you see is a completely earthen plaster, and it is derived from Shashkalak. It's basically a traditional finger plaster which happens in all the vernacular homes of Ladakh. But in Pale, we have made it in like a woven fabric, in grids and in different various patterns. And the other project is a Thinlas residence. And Thinlas home stands as an earthen passive solar structure in Sabuthang. So what you see in Sabuthang is a very unplanned construction going on in a very haywire fashion. We have tried to understand the local Ladakhi features, the layouts, the massing, but for a family which has contemporary aspirations.
If you build a non-solar house, so then in the winter, mostly Ladakh is cold, so then we have to get lots of funding for it. So that's why I thought it's better to have it like sustainable. So in the future, we don't have to spend much money.
So the plot is about 2.5 canal, and the built up of the house is about 3,000 square feet.
The understanding of Thinlas house layout was coming from the traditional Ladakhi house, where the chansa, the living space, was central to the entire house. In terms of passive solar technicality, one had to work with the idea of creating buffer zone towards the north side. So two core spaces happen at the north side. One is the staircase and the dry toilet. So the ground floor is rammed earth and it is not plastered as of now, and the first floor, which is adobe walls, so that is plastered in a traditional mud finger plaster, which is called Shashkalak.
So it's a double wall system with insulation in between. So for the rammed earth walls, we have used thermocol because we needed the material insulation to have certain amount of compressive strength. But for the adobe walls, we have repurposed the army mattresses. The house has two types of passive solar strategies. There is a trom wall system and there's a greenhouse.
So the upper floor in this house is employing a trom wall system for the passive solar gain, where what you have is the glazing on the outside, the south facing glazing, and on the inside, roughly 8 inches away, a cement concrete wall, which is painted black from the outside. So when the solar gain is happening during the daytime, the radiation is heating up the black thermal walls, which is then creating the hot current and bringing in inside, and then the cool air then displaced back into that little 8-inch cavity. And then in the night time, when you close off these windows, you have the hot air inside, which is trapped throughout the day. And in the night time, the same concrete wall acts as a radiator because it started heating from the outside, and eventually by the night, the heat has now reached towards the inside. Middle of the night, when you touch these walls, it's actually warm.
Field Architects was established in 2017. 3 years back, we started Field Studios. The whole idea to start a space or the workshop was, since so many years in Ladakh, we have been engaging with a lot of craftspeople over the period, where we'll train masons or helpers, or have a set of carpenters with whom we'll work out certain details. But what would happen is, if a site changes, then the team is continuously moving. So we needed a space where we can develop ideas, or do our own prototypings, or working actually with like we are working on a drawing, but if you want to make a mock-up of that to scale. So Field Studios was basically the lab which we conceived 3 years back. And recently we started a line of contemporary Tibetan furniture, which we are developing.
Materiality has played a very crucial part in deciding how the design would turn out to be in modern architecture especially. However, if you turn back and look at the vernacular architecture, it has a very ingenious way of working with the design regardless of what materiality can play as a role in the final execution.
I think for now Ladakh is home.
While working in Ladakh for all these years, we realized that what kept us going, despite of every hurdle, I think what it brought in us is the hardiness, the means of survival was taught to us by the situations, and the life skills that gave us.
I think Ladakh tests your limits. That is what it is.